Good afternoon. My name is Fernando López. I am a personal injury attorney. I have now been practicing personal injury law over 18 years. We've handled over 1,000 clients, 1,000 cases. We've recovered millions of dollars for our clients. We've handled every type of case, minor cases, major accidents, wrongful deaths, uh, life-changing events. And we've handled them from A to Z, and we've handled them successfully. But today I want to focus specifically on car accidents, because car accidents are the most common type of personal injury claim. They happen every day on every road, every major highway, um, every access road, anywhere you can think of, parking lots, accidents happen. And people always are wondering, what do I do in case of an accident? What's the logical next step? People see billboards, they see commercials. They know personal injury lawyers exist, but they don't know exactly what the law implies and what their rights are. So today we're going to be talking about that. Let's focus first on the actual scene of the accident. What happens when you're involved in a car accident? Let's assume you are at a red light and it's your turn to cross the intersection. You have the green light, you have the right of way. Somebody runs a red light and they hit you, and they hit you in the side of your car, which is a traumatic, usually pretty significant impact. Um, Police will come out to the scene of the accident. Hopefully, somebody calls the police. Hopefully, they show up in a reasonable time. If they don't show up in a reasonable time, some people get a little confused. They don't know: do I leave my car there in the middle of this intersection? Do we try to move it? Normally, the standard protocol and procedure would be to leave the car as it stands, because a police officer needs to get a full, accurate picture of what happened. Sometimes that can't happen. Sometimes there's just so much going on around, too much traffic. Police haven't arrived, in 2 or 3 or 5 minutes. And if the vehicles can be moved somewhere safely, then they should be moved somewhere safely. Now, the police officer finally arrives. Usually, the police officer will do two things. One, he'll go to you, the victim of the car accidents, which is the person that we represent, and they'll go to the person who caused the accident. They'll ask you if you're injured. They'll ask you how you feel. They'll ask you what happened. Obviously, if it's a very serious accident and you're not able to communicate, maybe you're unconscious or whatever reason, an ambulance will be called and you will be taken to the hospital. A lot of times, though, there are injuries. There's neck pain, there's back pain, there's knee pain, shoulder pain, but they're not serious enough that an ambulance is to be called out at that very time. However, the police officer will ask you anyway. And so it's very important that if you can articulate exactly what happened, because a lot of times people are nervous, they're stressed out, maybe they're angry. And I'm talking about, again, the victim of the car accident, not the perpetrator. They're angry, they're frustrated, and so they don't articulate exactly how everything happened. And so then, after the police officer is done with you, they may go to the other driver, and the other driver may be very articulate, and the other driver may be very convincing, and say, well, it wasn't really red, it wasn't really green. It was red. It was his fault, something like that. So there can be confusion. So it's very important that you are very specific and articulate with the police officer and explain how everything happened. If you decide not to go to the hospital, then usually the police officer will then say, okay, if somebody needs to come pick you up, you'll go home. You're probably going to be in some pain. Usually even a minor accidents, and this is something that many insurance defense companies and lawyers argue against, but it's a reality. Even minor accidents cause injuries, and this has been proven time and time again with experts, both in and out of court. So you're going to go home, you're going to have some pain, take some Tylenol, and then see how you feel. If it's urgent, if the pain proceeds to something greater, or if Tylenol is not working, then probably it's advisable to go to some kind of an emergency room or urgent care center, whatever the case may be. At that time, you're looking around, you're saying, what's going to happen with my vehicle? Your vehicle most likely will get towed to some place. So it's very important that you keep track of that information, where the vehicle's getting towed to. Because if you hire a lawyer, or when and if you hire a lawyer, it's going to be important, because there's two separate issues when it comes to car accidents that the lawyer needs to think about, which is the property damage portion, and then obviously the personal injury side. So make sure you take notes of where your vehicle is going to be stored. When and if you're ready to hire a lawyer, the process is you call the lawyer's office and say, hey, I was in an accident, wasn't my fault. This happened yesterday, the day before, whatever the case may be. And, how am I going to pay for my property damage? I mean, I went to the hospital. I got to go to an urgent care center. My back hurts. And what am I going to do about that? And so that's a lot of times where clients get stressed out because they don't know who's going to pay for all these things. And unfortunately, in today's world, a lot of people out there, a lot of good folks out there are struggling to pay bills. So this is one more headache that somebody who's just been involved in a car accident certainly does not need. And so us lawyers, that's our job. We take on that responsibility. We take on that stress for you because that's what we do. And so, we start the process, we start the claim. Obviously, we go through the what the steps are with you. We explain the contract with you very clearly, define what those parameters are, what the attorney fees are, etc. And once a contract is signed, then an attorney-client relationship has been formed. After the formation of the relationship, then we can open up the claim and get the process going. Now, a lot of times, what happens when you're in a car accident, the police officer will come out to the scene that day. However, it may take 7, 8, 9, 10 days sometimes before the police report is actually ready. And so it's difficult because there are some clients that say, hey, I'm without a car. What can I do? I can't wait 7, 8, 10 days so that we can get the other driver's insurance information and then open up a claim and then, get me a rental or what have you. So in those situations, when it's dire, when our clients don't have any other vehicle, our office will provide rental vehicles. We take care of that issue for you, so that you're not worried about that. In the meantime, we do our due diligence and we look for the insurance information that we need. But it's just one stress that we want to eliminate with our clients. When they say, hey, Mr. Lopez, that's my only car and I've got to take my kids to school. I got to go to work, whatever the issue may be. We take care of that part of it. Initially after that, sometime, it's advisable, if you're in pain, if you're feeling these things, then you should probably go see treating doctors. Very specifically, there are different types of doctors or therapists initially.